Good morning. Sergeant First Class Reginald Knight retired reporting. And welcome to Christmas Eve 2025. This last Christmas story is near and dear to my heart, and I'll try not to get emotional, but I do not guarantee it. 10 years later, after my grandma had passed, I'm in Tampa at Central Command, and I'm having some personal issues, so I'm staying at the temporary lodging facility on base. I've been there for about 5 or 6 weeks, I don't know. But my mother called me and decided that she wants to spend Christmas with me in Florida. So I'm like, okay. So I went over to the hotel and I talked to the staff, and they were very gracious. They didn't have any regular rooms, so they decided to put her up in one of the flag officer TLFs, which are very nice. And they only charged me the regular rate. So we spent New Year's Eve on the beach that morning. And as I'm out there looking over the water, I decided that I wanted to do something for the airmen that were manning the hotel on Christmas Eve because, they have families too. So I told my mother I was going to go to Publix and get a, holiday gift box and heat it up and take it over there so they could have something to eat that night. And she said, that's a great idea. So we went to Publix and, man, it was only $29, which is, you can't get that these days. But what was in there was a whole turkey. It was some potato souffle with the pecans in there, sweet potatoes, rolls, cornbread, stuffing, and was it potato salad in there? Anyway, it was, a lot of stuff. Oh, and cranberry sauce. That's what it was. So we heat it up and we take it over, and I'm telling them what it's for. And I told them, I said, there's only one caveat. With my father and I lived in this house that, we would read from the Bible on Christmas Eve. And I'm going to read the story of Luke from the 2nd chapter. If you are offended by that, then I apologize, but you can't eat my food. So no one disagreed. And by that time, a guy from Ohio and his family walked in. He was stranded because there was a huge snowstorm up north that year. And he turned out that he was a believer as I am. And so he was like, sure, for a meal, yeah, we'll hear some Bible verses. So I took my Bible out and I read from Luke. And then we started to eat. We served the people behind the counter first. And then the people from Ohio, I wish I could remember that guy's name, but it's been a long time. It was him, his wife, and 2 kids. So by that time, the smell of the food and word of mouth began to waft through the hotel. And people start coming down, hungry. And if you know anything about airmen and Marines and sailors, they eat, particularly if the food is free. And I'm looking around thinking, well, it may not be enough, but whatever we have, we'll share it with you. And in my estimation, at least 30 people came downstairs. And, military people are not shy when they eat. They don't take a little bit and put on their plate. They take huge chunks of meat and big old spoons of sweet potatoes and, mashed potatoes, so on and so forth. But to make a long story short, at least 30 people came down and ate out of that box. And after we had finished, I asked one of the staff if they had any Ziploc bags, because we actually bagged up and took a lot of food back to her TLF. Now, how that meal was able to expand like that to this day is a miracle to me. And if my mother was still alive, she would verify exactly what I'm saying. That meal was only designed to feed 8 to 12 people, which equates to probably 6 soldiers or, 5 Marines. But it fed everybody. And from that day forward, my family, before we had dinner on Christmas Eve, we read from Luke, from the 2nd chapter, which details the birth of Jesus. Now, you may not believe in miracles. You may not really think that Christmas has any magic left. And that's perfectly fine. But I will say this. There is something about December when people come together to share their faith, and if they don't have that type of faith, to share their humanity. And what an impact that has made on my life all these years later. Just a small act of kindness cascaded into an event that I will remember until I close my eyes for the last time and leave this earth. I want to thank you because I know that this has been hard on all of us this year, of all the things that we have had to endure. And I believe that our connectivity and our humanity has made ourselves stronger, that we can get through these difficult times. So for all of you who have family and those of you that don't, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I hope you have a fantastic New Year's Eve. And I want you to start thinking about next year. Because it is our love of each other, it is our humanity that is going to keep us moving forward in 2026. You see, the worm is already turned and we have momentum. So let's keep that Christmas spirit in our hearts as we do what we have to do. I know this video was a little bit long today, and I thank you for your grace and your latitude. But on behalf of Ashley the cat and myself, may God bless you and keep you. Merry Christmas, everybody. I'll see you on Friday. Take care.